Have you ever reached a moment where you realized you were never someone's first choice? For me, that moment came just a few days before my 25th birthday. My name is Emma, and growing up, I always believed that if I worked hard enough, loved deeply enough, and stayed patient long enough, my mom would finally look at me the way she looked at my younger sister, Lily. But she never did. It wasn't that my mother hated me. That would have been easier to understand. Instead, she simply overlooked me. Every achievement I celebrated somehow became Lily's moment. Every special day I dreamed about somehow turned into something for her. When I graduated college with honors, Mom spent dinner talking about Lily's dance recital. When I got my first promotion, she asked if I could lend Lily money because she wanted to start another business idea. When I bought my first apartment, she congratulated me for exactly 10 seconds before asking if Lily could stay there, just for a little while. I kept telling myself that families weren't perfect. I kept telling myself that someday she'd notice how hard I tried. Then came my birthday. For the first time in years, Mom had promised that the day would be all about me. "I've already booked the restaurant," she told me, over the phone, with a smile in her voice. "Just you, me, Grandma, and everyone else. It's your turn." Those words stayed in my heart for weeks. I even took a day off work because I wanted to enjoy every second. I bought a simple blue dress. I made dinner reservations afterward with my closest friends. For once, I allowed myself to believe I mattered. But what I didn't know that day was that Lily had different plans. 3 days before my birthday, Mom called. Her voice sounded strangely casual. "Honey, we're going to have to cancel." I laughed nervously. "Cancel what?" "The birthday dinner." My stomach tightened. "Why?" There was a long silence. Lily got invited to a luxury weekend event with her boyfriend. She wants everyone to come celebrate with her before they'll leave. I couldn't even speak. "My birthday is in 3 days." "I know, sweetheart, but birthdays happen every year." That sentence shattered something inside me. Every year, as if my feelings were replaceable. As if I could simply wait another 12 months. Meanwhile, Lily's spontaneous weekend somehow mattered more than the one day Mom had promised would finally belong to me. I hung up the phone before she finished explaining. For the first time in my life, I stopped crying. Instead, I became completely calm. And that calmness scared me more than tears ever could. Because deep inside, I knew something had just ended forever. The next morning, my phone exploded with family messages. "Lily is so excited. You'll understand. Don't make this into a family problem." Not one person asked how I felt. Not one. It was as though everyone had quietly accepted that I would always sacrifice my happiness for hers. At work, I couldn't concentrate. I kept replaying every memory from childhood. Every forgotten birthday gift. Every canceled plan. Every time Mom defended Lily no matter what happened. I finally understood something I had spent 25 years refusing to admit. This wasn't favoritism anymore. It had become my identity inside the family. I was the reliable daughter, the understanding daughter, the invisible daughter. That evening, I walked into my apartment and looked around. Every piece of furniture, every picture, every accomplishment I had built alone, without help, without applause, without anyone saying they were proud of me. So why was I still begging for love that had never been freely given? That night, I made my final decision. I quietly removed myself from the family group chat. I canceled every future holiday plan. I changed the emergency contact on my work documents. Then I wrote Mom a letter. Not an angry letter, not a cruel one, just an honest one. "I've spent my whole life competing for a place in your heart. I finally realized it isn't a competition I can win because I was never allowed to enter. I forgive you, but I can't keep abandoning myself just to stay close to people who never choose me." I mailed it the next morning. Then I turned off my phone. For the first time in years, I celebrated my birthday exactly how I wanted. I took myself to breakfast. I watched the sunrise. I bought flowers. I laughed with friends who had become the family I chose. And for the first time, I didn't spend the day wondering whether my mother would remember to call. Because I already knew the answer. Weeks passed. Life became strangely peaceful. Without constant disappointment, I had room to breathe. I started traveling. I accepted bigger projects at work. I smiled more. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't making someone suffer. Sometimes it's proving you were never the problem. Until everything changed one rainy afternoon. Mom appeared outside my apartment, alone. She looked older than I remembered, smaller somehow. She held my letter tightly in her hands. She stood there silently for several seconds before whispering, "I didn't realize how much I hurt you." I wanted to believe her. Part of me still missed having a mother, but another part remembered 25 years of broken promises. "I've called you every day," she said. "I know. You never answered. I needed to know what life felt like without being disappointed." She started crying. Then she told me something I never expected. After I left, Lily stopped visiting. She only contacted Mom when she needed money. Family gatherings became smaller. Grandma openly asked why I wasn't there. Relatives began questioning years of obvious favoritism. For the first time, Mom had to face the truth everyone else had quietly ignored. She had spent years investing everything into one daughter while expecting unconditional forgiveness from the other. And eventually, she lost the one who had always stayed. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know," I replied softly, "but apologies don't erase patterns." There was no dramatic argument, no shouting, no celebration, just two women standing in silence, realizing some wounds take years to create and even longer to heal. I didn't invite her inside that day, not because I hated her, because I finally respected myself enough to protect my peace. Over the following months, we slowly rebuilt something. Not the relationship we once pretended to have, a new one. One based on honesty instead of obligation. One where my feelings mattered too. Lily continued living exactly as she always had, expecting others to fix her problems. But I no longer felt jealous, because I had discovered something she never had. Real happiness isn't earned by being someone's favorite. It's found when you stop asking people to choose you, and start choosing yourself. Looking back now, I don't remember the birthday that was canceled. I remember the woman I became because of it. Sometimes the hardest goodbye opens the door to the life you've always deserved. And if someone keeps choosing everyone else over you, don't spend your life waiting to become their priority. Become your own. Because the moment I walked away wasn't the day I lost my family. It was the day I finally found myself.